Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Who's the caller?
Mr. Holism.
How you doing? Oh, sir. Sorry about the disorganization, but this is a first-time deal. We will get better at this. But
no, don't worry about it, man. BTR is always on some BS.
But my question to you is, like, what is it going to take for blacks to feel within them to grow unity in the sense of handling their own communities first before they feel like they can check others when a crime like Trayvon Martin has occurred? Meaning, like, don't you think we should check our own neighborhoods before we check, the policymakers, the police, and everybody else? Because if we don't check ourselves, who else is going to respect us?
Well, I've always said that before we can start talking about what we need to do in the community, we need to first have one.
Exactly.
There is no community in the sense of what a community really is. It's like we don't control our environment. And you can't, put the cart before the horse when it comes to that. I agree with you. It's like before you can start attacking all of these things and these systems, it's like perfect example is the police. The police are so insignificant that it's ridiculous. The only reason why the police seem so big and gigantic to us is because we're so woefully disorganized.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at other communities. Like I had posted something up in the group today, and there's a community in Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, in a Jewish community, that they have patrol cars. They have patrol cars. This is a community watch. They have patrol cars. They have ambulances, bulletproof vests, two-way radios. About 150 people patrolling the streets. They don't have a problem with the cops.
Who's sponsoring them?
Reality in their community. So
true.
before we can start, fixing anything, we got to get an actual community.
It starts with the small areas, like
right.
getting rid of the Dollar Tree stores, the gas station, certain gas stations, certain loan stores, But it also takes a safe community, a safe environment, because why do black businesses not succeed? For a simple reason, gang activity. How is a middle-class family going to feel safe to want to support black business when the area they enter, they fear for their safety?
And how are businesses going to open up in the community where they fear for their safety? It's like it's like a snowball effect. You know what I mean? It's like our lack of organization, and really that's what this all is about. It's about a lack of organization. And another thing. I put up a video on the Black African infrastructure, and I keep getting comments from people talking about everything that we can't do. We can't do this. Black folks can't do that. Black folks, and then they talk about religion and stuff. I'm like, listen, I'm very simple with this, and I like to keep things really simple because I think that's how movements get started, on a simple message.
Yeah.
If you live in the community, I think we can all agree. I think if you Muslim, Christian, maybe you worship a head of lettuce, I don't care. Can we all agree on this? Our community should be safe for our women, our children, and our elders. Can we reach a common ground and consensus on that? Or do I have to pick up a Quran? Or do I have to pick up a Torah? Do I have to pray 5 times a day for us to come to a consensus on that very basic, simple concept? We all live in the community. Our women, our children, and our elders should be safe. Is there something wrong with me?
No.
It gets no more complicated than that. So when you break it down to something simple like that, I don't care who you worship. I don't care what church you go to. That's your business. But we should all be involved in taking care of and protecting the people within our communities. That seems to me to cross above all those religious barriers and spiritual barriers to me. But maybe I'm crazy.
You're not crazy. You got common sense, and you got an idea that's planted. It's just,
you know, because we get involved in all of that stuff. All we're gonna do is argue and fight.
Like my father taught me, don't get mad, just get even.
Right.
That's how you handle situations such as this.
Remember what happened when O.J. got found not guilty? Did white people riot? Did they hold protests? They were quiet.
Yep.
And somehow we knew that there was hostility in the air without anybody saying a word. I long for the day when we're able to do that. When something like this happens, everybody should just be quiet. Don't say a word. And let things get done without us making any announcements about it. I long for the day when that happens.
But we can make that day now because we got the resources, and the best time to attack is right now while we still have it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we never had a platform this easy for us, and we don't do nothing about it. It's
man, you're right.
The way we use technology, you know, especially the youth, they use it for social media gadgets instead of learn how to use Access or Excel or PowerPoint and stuff like that. You know, stuff that would get you ahead in engineering programs or, you know, jobs and stuff. We use it for, you know, attention spans to expand our egos because that's all Facebook and Twitter is about. It's about pleasing and expanding our egos instead of,
that's what it's about for us.
Yeah.
Other people use it to form organizations. Do you know how many organizations have popped up through the social networks?
Thousands.
Movements have popped up because, you know, people use it as an organizing tool, and it is effective as that. It's not, you can't use it within itself. You have to do on-the-ground stuff as well. But it's like you have to do everything. If you got to use the social networks, you got to use the man on the street, boots on the ground. You got to use everything as a tool to organize. And we don't look at it that way. We look at it as pure entertainment. And that's the problem.
I think in some way there needs to be a powerful message where, like in that movie Inception, there needs to be a plan, an idea that it goes so in depth to our subconscious that we start believing it. And then right then there, you know, we play our roles, we play our mission. Now, it sounds like some hypnosis type stuff, but in a way, you know, I don't expect a full unity base because the law of physics states everything that exists is always the opposite. So as long as you can get a majority or a half sect to be on the same page, we got something productive done.
Right.
But that's hard to do for some reason because there's self-hatred, there's no respect, and you look upon like, oh, you one of us. So you ain't nothing. You're beneath me. Or, you know, what can you do for me that person can do for me?
But you know what, though?
Oh, go ahead.
When you approach life the way that a scientist or an engineer approach life, you know that anything can be done. It's just a way of how you set it up and the structure in which you use. People and their individual little idiosyncrasies and problems and stuff and complaint, it doesn't really bother me because I tend to look at things from an overall structural point of view. We can get a lot of things done I think the biggest problem is our architects and our engineers are not asleep at the wheel, basically. The people aren't the problem. The people will follow the path that's laid out for them. But if you don't lay no path out, how can you complain about the people? It's like a shepherd not laying out the path for the sheep and then complaining because the sheep are scattered in the field.
Yes.
You know, the architects, the engineers, the people with the technical knowledge have to do what they have to do to lay out the path. If they haven't done that, then the people are exactly where they should be, nowhere. You know, this is a collective thing, man.
My question is like, are they trying to start a new Renaissance age where it becomes the Dark Ages for America, and we just got to reprogress back to Renaissance? Because, you know, if you don't learn from something, history repeats itself some kind of way.
Right.
So what I'm wondering is, it's like, how do you advance from this? How do you get the youth to give a damn? How do you get people our age and older to give a damn? And how do you infrastructure that as an architect?
By telling the truth and not being afraid. You'd be surprised. People are attracted to Malcolm because of the truth that he told, because he wasn't afraid. He wasn't a compromised person. And the youth respect that. The youth want strength. But if they look to their elders and all they see is their elders bowing and kowtowing and bootlicking all the time, they lose respect for their elders. That's why I don't get upset with this pants under the butt thing. It's like, that is so trivial. In the grand scheme of things, that's what our problem is. And we don't even realize that the reason why they're doing that is to piss us off. And it's working.
It is.
That's their way. That's the youth's way of saying, fuck you. I'm being real. That's what it is. They don't have no respect for us, so they're doing everything they can to piss us off. And instead of us addressing the major concerns that make the youth go through this stuff that they're going through, which is this system that we live in, nobody ever wants to address the system. They want to. It's like you have a big pile of crap in the middle of your community, and instead of you coming up with a way to get rid of the crap, we up there talking to people about how they should avoid the crap. Now, don't you go near that crap in the community. I don't want to see you over there. Why don't we get the crap out of the community so nobody has to avoid it? But see, that's thinking systematically. It's looking at the problem. If you got a leak coming into your house, and you just go plugging up every hole where the leak comes, you're never going to get the water to stop coming unless you go to the source of where the water is coming from.
Yes.
And until people want to do that, we are just wasting our time. I call it like throwing little sheets of toilet paper on a pool full of shit. You're doing a lot of work, but you ain't accomplishing nothing.